Hi everyone. Thank you for attending the PSA webinar on the benefits of going global in payroll. With us today, we have three presenters. Jan van Moor, he's the Head of Global Alliances at SD Worx. Jim Jenson, SVP Global Partners and Alliances at Ceridian. And Mary Dijmin, she's the Regional Director Partner Sales at Ascender. In this webinar, we will share who is Payroll Services Alliance, PSA in short, the problem facing multinational business leaders, challenges and trends of HCM and beyond, benefits of Payroll Services Alliance, as well as a couple of customer case studies. We'll do a short introduction of PSA. Let us have Jan van Moor, Head of Global Alliances at SD Worx. Jan, over to you.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here with Mary and Jim. Let me explain what the Payroll Services Alliance is about. So we are, as you could see in the movie, we are 7 regional leaders in payroll, and we are covering the US and Canada, Asia Pacific and Europe, but also parts of LATAM and Africa. And what makes us different, we are local experts and we combine our solutions into global solutions. And there we focus on quality, we focus on compliancy, and we mainly focus on what our clients need and that we provide them with the right solutions. The difference between the Payroll Services Alliance and other providers mainly is that we don't pretend to be the best everywhere, but we cooperate amongst the best everywhere. Let me go a bit deeper on the key issues that we see professionals in multinational organizations facing when they work towards multi-country payroll. And we did a survey, and you see the results of that survey on your screen. And the first big issue that companies have is the accuracy and the compliancy of payroll. And compliancy is extremely important. It's extremely important when it comes to local legislation, but it's also very important when it comes to regional legislation, such as the European GDPR legislation, for example. A second very important part or issue that people are facing is the consistency of service levels amongst different countries. So the payroll is something that is very locally driven or driven by local legislation, and to get service levels consistent and allowing companies to govern payroll and HR in the same way throughout their entire footprint is a big issue. Not a big surprise. On a third place, cost is really important. It is really important to keep costs low, but it is also very important to keep costs under control. And by keeping them under control and by having visibility on your costs, you can start to keep them low and have a good total cost of ownership. Last but not least is partner management and the number of providers you have to face as a multinational company. If you have to face one or even more providers per country, if you are in about 10 countries, for example, you already would have to face or to talk to to 10 to 15 providers, which causes a lot of contract issues, but also causes a lot of negotiation and a lot of different governance models. So this was the last risk we saw in our survey. Let me introduce you to Jim. Jim Jenson is Senior Vice President of Global Partners and Alliances at our US and Canada partner, Ceridian. Hi, Jim.
Thank you, Jan. Along with what Jan was saying, some of the challenges that organizations are facing around trends in HCM is, first, is the increasing regulation around globalization. The second is managing all employee lifecycle functions within their current solution. And third is the consumer expectations for technologies that employees have. So with the first one, in the increasing regulation and globalization, it's easier now than ever for companies to move into new territories and geographies. Many of the physical impediments that used to exist are no longer there. You can hire any employee you want from anywhere in the world. You can connect them into your business virtually and have them be just as effective as if they were in the office. Many companies now use this as the basis for their business, but each country you expand into comes with its own regulatory challenges. Navigating the different jurisdictions and local needs can be tough. So as a result, the trends around increasing regulation and globalization, the first is many businesses are moving towards managed. It allows them to shift services from OpEx to CapEx, and it gives them more flexibility to move when a vendor isn't meeting their expectations. It keeps vendors on their toes to make sure that they continue to deliver value to their customers. The second is letting it become somebody else's problem. Complex functions and processes no longer require in-house expertise. Your business isn't about learning about and keeping up with regulatory requirements. It's about your business. So this allows you to focus on your business and let someone else deal with the complex bits. And thirdly, you don't want to deal with the risk. So compliance violations and the associated fines can be hefty. Keeping up with the changes exposes you and your business. Offloading the management offloads the risk. The second challenge, managing all employee lifecycle functions, it's not just about getting great talent in the door, it's about empowering the talent and immersing them in your business so that you can engage them and make sure they stay. In today's world, employees are quick to leave if they're not feeling fulfilled, which is particularly true of Gen Y. You need to make sure that they're not just hiring talent, but inspiring them. Most organizations find that LinkedIn and Facebook have more information about their employees than they do, and that shouldn't be the case. The key is finding a consolidated system that allows you to track your entire global employee population in one system. It allows you to provide the kind of reporting and access to data that your organization needs and that your employees demand. Having everything in a single platform also leads us to the third challenge, which is consumer expectations for technology. Your employees aren't tied to their desks. They're mobile, they're virtual, and they're always on. The way they interact with your business has changed. Your employees expect that you're keeping up with their needs. They want access to all of their employee info and tools in the way that they consume everything else in their world. When they want it, where they want it, and how they want it. Submitting paper forms, for example, to fill out vacation requests is a thing of the past. If an employee is discussing vacation plans with friends, they want to be able to submit their request right then, right there from their mobile device and get that locked in. So the key is enabling users to have access to their information, enabling them to have access to their systems, providing that self-service component, and giving them the ability to access that information anytime, anywhere. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mary, the Regional Director of Partner Sales at Ascender, to talk about why the PSA works for our customers.
Thank you, Jim. Today we're going to talk about the benefits of the Payroll Services Alliance, and both you and Jan may add in to the point that we're going to discuss later part. For the Gartner, the world's leading independent information technology research and advisory company, have rated 3 key members of Payroll Services Alliance in the Magic Quadrant as a leader, in delivering payroll business process outsourcing services in 2016 on its ability to execute and completeness of vision among the other global players as well.
It's very good to see, Mary, that if you look at the Magic Quadrant, that out of the 5 global leaders, 3 of them are a member of the Payroll Services Alliance.
Yes.
So we're in good paper there.
And further to that, Ernst & Young also have identified 3 key risks associated with payroll errors that will put a pressure in retaining talent today. And the 3 things actually is related to payroll accuracy and compliance, as well as the confidence of the employees staying with the global organization. One example of keeping up with statutory and labor tax regulation changes in the organization can be very costly because companies do not want to actually retain someone who is a tax expert in the region. And because easily in Asia, Europe have more than 100 changes in legislative updates within 6 months or less. And a second point on correcting errors for payroll can be very costly and time consuming. And one of the examples of the client in Australia, Chemist Warehouse, have to pay upfront $3.5 million to the employees because of the honest mistake in its award interpretation. And ultimately, it will all impact the perception and confidence of the employees over time, and therefore retaining talent is going to be difficult for a global organization, which is something that the company do not want to focus on as the business growth in the region. One of the recent survey that SD Worx have done recently in European coverage is that 44% of the employees have mentioned that have been paid late by an employer. And therefore, this is an actual statistic that was shown to say that if they are being paid late by the employer, the confidence to the employer will decrease over time. And now to the point of back again, why is the benefits of Payroll Services Alliance? And I think Jim and Jan, you can add on also to what you think will benefit the companies globally. Local compliance and global governance is something that Payroll Service Alliance formed at the initial stage why it has come together to be able to deliver local expert still on a global governance level.
Yeah, that's true, Mary. I think that payroll being driven by local legislation and by the legislation in each country, that if you are looking for a global solution that is compliant and where you can have peace of mind, that you need to be compliant in each country, and you need experts in each country that follow for you the legislation and make sure that you don't make mistakes, or that they don't make mistakes for you. So that's a key point in it.
Yes, and as company is looking to grow and expand in the region, scalability is definitely one key thing that they have to look at and consider. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, and if you look at it as an extension of your organization, by being a member of the PSA, having this one global system of record, you immediately have access to experts in each of these regions that understand the compliance and the difficulties that are associated with it. And so not only do you have one global system of record that you're able to manage your entire employee population in, but as Jan said earlier, you don't have to become experts in those regions around that governance and compliance. You can rely on the PSA to ensure that you remain compliant, and that leads to the last point, the fourth point, which is peace of mind.
And peace of mind is of course very important. And let me take you through some examples of clients. When we look into multinational companies, we see a couple of different types of companies. And one of these could be a multi-domestic company that is present in several countries, but where the countries amongst themselves don't really speak or interact. And on the other end of the scale, you would have a global company where it doesn't matter which part of the company is in which country. Now, a lot of companies are moving from one type to another in the state of becoming global in the end, and we get a lot of questions around that. For example, one of our clients is a chemical company, and they were acquiring a lot of other companies in different countries, and they came to us and they said. So they had a landscape of different providers, even more providers per country, and they knew of themselves that they did something wrong, but they asked us to help them to figure out what and how we could help them with a good solution by giving them one harmonized service level across countries and making sure this was fit into the needs of each local country and adding a global system of record, they all of a sudden were much more efficient in their payroll and in their total cost of ownership, and in the end they could be very relying on the compliancy of the entire solution. So that gave them a lot of peace of mind. Another example is a big electronics company that has a couple of big subsidiaries in a couple of countries and is very small in a lot of other countries. By combining our solutions of, on the one hand, local expertise that directly speaks to them in the countries where they are big, with an expertise service center for the other countries, they have a solution that really fits their needs in all the setups they have. So by looking at that, we can be quite confident that the flexibility of our solutions and service levels combined with the local expertise in global governance really helps our clients.
Thank you, Jan, Mary, and Jim, for sharing with us your valuable insights. Please feel free to reach out to our partners of PSA, and we would love to hear from you. Please visit us on our website, www.payrollservicesalliance.com. Find us on LinkedIn, check out our latest blogs, and download our latest white paper. Thank you very much.